Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbett, the scientist turned mindset and high performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that help you get to that next level of success in your life and business. My guest today is digital marketer Austin Armstrong, who has built a 1 million annual revenue business as CEO of Socialty Pro, an organic SEO and TikTok full-service marketing agency. He's also a speaker, TikTok expert, and host of the Business Talk podcast. After getting his social media presence started on MySpace, Austin has now posted more than 2,500 videos on TikTok, tripling his own business and thousands more across his clients' accounts. He has worked with many different industries, including health, legal, e-commerce, and many others. And as a Dark Horse Society Award winner and TikTok for Business panel moderator, Austin has been featured and interviewed quite a bit, and it's such an honor to welcome him to my show today. So welcome, Austin, and thank you so much for being on my show today.
Claudia, what an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to chat.
As am I. Austin, I read that you started your career as an unpaid intern at an addiction center. Can you share what that experience was like and how it has shaped your career path?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of my origin story. I had moved out to California from New Jersey about 8 or 9 years ago at this point, and it was to support my sister who was in recovery at the time. And I had stumbled into the center that she was attending. One of the business partners also had a video marketing agency specifically for the behavioral health space, for drug and alcohol treatment centers, for psychologists, for therapists. And I loved it. I had going on at the time. I was a 23-year-old with not much direction in life. Had a mohawk at the time, was a little bit crazy, a little bit wild, and they needed some help in anything, just doing odd jobs, odds and ends, helping set up camera equipment, helping do a little bit of social media posts and whatnot. And I jumped right in. And I did that for a couple months as a unpaid intern, proved my worth, proved my value, became a paid part-time intern with a small monthly stipend. But that eventually led to becoming a part-time employee at the company, to becoming a full-time employee at the company. It's led me to ultimately become digital marketing director at several drug and alcohol treatment centers. And 3.5 years ago, I now started my social media agency with my boss that was at that company that I was an intern under. So he's been a huge mentor to me. So I went from unpaid intern to business partner, starting a $1 million digital marketing agency with him. It's been quite the journey, but if I had not pursued that, I would not be on this podcast with you right now or in the seat that I'm in.
That's an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely.
What would you say was the most important lesson that you've learned about mental health and addiction working at that addiction center?
Yeah, there's a lot of stigma attached to that. That's such a good question. That it is a disease. Addiction is a disease. That's maybe a controversial statement depending on where you fall in that, but it is classified as a disease. And when you view it through that lens, you become more empathetic. I'm no angel when it comes to buying into stigma that's forced upon us by the general census, right? You see somebody that's homeless on the street that's asking for money for drugs. You there's a little sense of, like you threw your life away, or, you made that choice to take those drugs in the first place. And maybe
Right.
there was a choice involved there, but not always. There's not always a choice involved there. But when addiction takes over, it becomes a disease, and it becomes so difficult to manage and overcome. So I've just learned so much about addiction and mental health from that aspect, that it's an ongoing process. It's a spectrum. You have to have empathy, because it's not as simple as just, oh, I'll just stop using. It's not it's not as simple as that. It's very, very complex.
Yeah, so
It's
true.
fascinating, and it's a fascinating industry.
Yeah, it's so true what you said. I mean, there might have been a choice initially, but once addiction takes over, it kind of it's not a choice anymore, as you said.
Right. Yeah.
It changes, and it gets so much harder to get back on track. So yes, empathy goes a long way.
Sure does.
And as an entrepreneur, I mean, we are constantly facing uncertainty, and we have to figure out how to stay positive and committed, even though we might not see the results of our hard work straight away. So, how do you keep your motivation high and your actions consistent when you don't see those immediate and instant results?
Well, I try and praise and celebrate every small win along the way, every milestone, if I just got a sale, if I hit a new follower count, if I got a client in account, I celebrate those wins. I post it, I track those along the way, and that just keeps me motivated with little micro wins, even if it's not life changing. But just following that path and seeing the long game has really benefited me. I think, when a lot of people would never have taken an unpaid internship. I saw the long-term value and opportunity that might have not worked out, but for me, it did. So I saw that 7-year plan. I saw the vision that if I stick with this thing, if I keep learning, if I never give up, if I keep improving 1% every single day, I learn new skills, I test, I fail, I succeed. That is what's been motivating me and kept me on this path, because there's tons of failures along the way, but you just have to keep going and see that long game.
That's so true. And that's a great mindset to have, to be kind of immune to failure and just take failure as a learning experience. I think that's what all the most successful people have learned. Because when I think back, when I started on this journey, I thought that failure was like something that you had to avoid like the plague. It was
Mm.
just so super intimidating, and I was so afraid of making mistakes. And that was one of the mindset shifts that I really needed to make for myself, that failure is just like, it's a stepping stone. It's part of the process. You cannot avoid it. You cannot eliminate it completely. You just have to learn to deal with it.
Yeah. I love the quote. I don't know who said it, but there are no failures. They're just lessons learned. And I
Yes.
love that.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Now, you have built this super successful company, but as we said, we all know that entrepreneurship is a journey with ups and downs. So, what aspect of entrepreneurship have you struggled with the most, and which tools and strategies have you found helpful to just stay on top of those challenges?
Yeah, there's so many failures. I mean, luckily there's been more successes than failures so far. But the first one that comes to mind is that when I started this agency, Socialty Pro, it was very much a side hustle at the time. It was an extra thing. I was still a full-time digital marketer, head of digital strategy at a drug and alcohol treatment center. And in the middle of the early pandemic, so June of 2020, I believe it was, I got fired from that job
Ooh.
on the spot. And so I was faced with a crazy entrepreneurial decision there of, do I go all in on this, on my idea, on my business that's really not that old, that's not making that big of profits yet. It was doing okay. I had about 2 months saved in the bank. Another quick thing about me is that I don't have a college degree because I did this untraditional path of internship to entrepreneurship. And so I talked to my business partner, I talked to my wife, and I decided to go all in on the agency, because it was very difficult to make the decision to try and find a job in the middle of the pandemic as somebody that doesn't have a college degree. I doubled down. I more so doubled down on TikTok, which was a huge and still is a huge opportunity for business owners and marketers. It's not just that dancing app for kids. It is a fast growing search engine and educational platform as well. So I doubled down on that. I learned vertical video strategies, and that really worked for a while. We hit a snag where we were not getting any new clients because I was mostly pitching search SEO services through TikTok and through our social media content strategy. So we were primarily an SEO agency at that time. And we had gotten to a point that we only had less than $10,000 in the bank, which was 1 month of payroll for everybody. And then we would have had to make the critical decision of, do we fire everybody? Do we, put this on the back burner? Do I have to get another job as well? So that was a struggle. But what we did was we pivoted. We've had this success from TikTok early on and getting clients, even though it was at a stagnant point right now. And we built a team around being able to repeat those processes for other business owners, getting them active on TikTok, on using vertical video content strategies. And that worked. The last year and a half, almost 2 years now, I guess, we've been following that journey, and it's just been a success pretty much all along the way. Those are two failures that come to mind, though.
Well, it's great to hear that you've been able to stay flexible and pivot and turn it into a success. Now, what have you learned about yourself from facing those tough decisions and challenges? I mean, something that I've noticed is just some of us, when we face a difficult situation, so we all react slightly differently, right? Some of us immediately spring into action mode. We come up with new solutions. Others get angry or get frustrated. Some of us get scared. Some of us just shut down or procrastinate. So I'm curious, what's your tendency? What's your first reaction when you're facing such a difficult situation?
Well, I'm definitely a chronic procrastinator, but I have to crack the whip on myself, and because I don't want to let myself down, I don't want to let our employees down. I don't want to be not a failure, but I don't want this to be another lesson learned. So I've leaned into meditation to just sit and visualize and strategize and try and get those answers. And that's really worked with me. But I'm an action taker. I buckle down. I got to do what needs to be done. Those early mornings, those late nights, working on weekends to figure things out and pivot fast when needed. That's what's really worked for me.
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, a lot of people mistake procrastination for laziness, which it definitely isn't. It's
No.
something, it's a strategy. It's a coping strategy we use when we're overwhelmed and we are scared and we just don't know what to do. So just something to be aware of. And I mean, what's the most important lesson that you have learned from building the business to the 1 million revenue mark?
To just keep doubling down on what you see working. If you get traction in one particular service or one particular area, just hyper focus on that one area for the time being and really ride that momentum. Stop, I'm an entrepreneur and I think about I have ADHD brain like a lot of other of us. So I'm constantly thinking of other ideas. Before the show, we were talking about a new SaaS project that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're able to laser focus on what works, that's where you're able to grow your revenue and acquire new clients and get more sales, get more leads, rather than spreading yourself too thin. I've also learned to hire my weaknesses. That has really helped as well. letting go of some of the tasks that I'm not the best at, or that I find tedious, or that I procrastinate doing because it's not my superpower. It's not what I'm most interested in. I hire for those jobs. I hire for those tasks so that I can free up my schedule and laser focus on what's working to grow the business, what people are interested in, spreading that message, doing amazing podcast opportunities like this, creating more social media content, and just doubling down.
That's a great tip for sure. Now, after you have reached this big 1 million milestone, what's next for you? Where do you want to take your business within, say, the next couple of years?
Well, I had alluded to, we're starting a AI SaaS tool, which is in early MVP development right now, so I won't say too much about that. But we should be launching an MVP for that. That is, it's a marketing tool in the next month or so. So wow. My revenue goals are in the next 2 years to 10x, go from 1 million to 10 million. I think we can far exceed that. And I have ambitious goals. You have to have ambitious goals. But continue to double down on what's working, continue to grow our team, and continue our team education as well as personal education. Try other things a little bit, dabble in the water, so to speak, to see what's working. But just continue on track and just grow in everything.
I love those reach goals. They're great. I mean, the thing is only that sometimes you reach a certain level and then all of a sudden your strategies that got you to that point don't get you to where you want to go next, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I was wondering, because you mentioned before that you're the type of person who spends long hours, maybe at night, and gets up early to do all the stuff that needs to get done. So what does a typical day in your life look like? And how do you make sure that you're staying happy, healthy, and productive?
I love that question. So I'll wake up and typically play with my puppy a little bit. We've got a 1-year-old Australian Shepherd who is just the love of our life. Then we'll go I'll get coffee with my wife. So I spend the morning just kind of disconnected a little bit for maybe the first hour, just hanging out with dog, hanging out with wife, getting that coffee, going on a morning walk or whatever that we have to do. And then I basically buckle down and get into work. Sometimes if I sit at my desk early enough, I will put on some guided meditations to set intentions for the day. I love listening to guided meditations on YouTube. It's a great way to start the day. I will post all of our social media typically in the morning. Afternoon is a lot of meetings and consultations, doing various tasks for clients. And then into the evening, it will typically be sort of R&D or more content creation on whatever I'm working on or different ideas. And then I'm a rock climber as well. So if I have time in the evenings, that's how I stay in shape and get my mind off of things. So I love rock climbing. And then, yeah, that's a typical day. Dinner, wind down, maybe a little bit more work. Go to bed like 10, 11 p.m., but I'm often working till 10, 11 p.m.
Yeah, I'm great to hear that you still get some rock climbing in there as well, because rock climbing is awesome.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great mind-body exercise as well.
It is, and it probably trains the entire body. So it's a perfect whole body workout.
Absolutely.
Now let's switch gears and talk about business. So what is the hottest new social media trend, and how can businesses use it to their advantage?
You have to have a short form vertical video strategy that's taken over every platform, every major platform in the last 2 years or less. What I mean by that is a 60-second or less vertical video, the opposite of a traditional YouTube video. So if you have TikTok on your phone, you're watching a TikTok, That's a vertical video, is the perfect example. You have to lean into this primarily because TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and Pinterest as well are all heavily promoting this format of content algorithmically. No ad spend needed, just organic push on really well-made content, targeting your buyer persona, your target client, whatever you want to label it as, that educates or edutains and provides them with incredible value. That's the biggest trend that's happening right now and is going to continue happening in 2023. There's some other trends and AI stuff and shopping, live shopping stuff and whatnot, but you have to have a short form vertical video content strategy if you want to succeed.
What programs do you use to create those vertical videos for your clients?
So it's as simple as, like, you can start just on TikTok. You can record in app. The editor is very intuitive for cutting clips, adding background music, adding text on screen, subtitles all within it, and then you can just repurpose. If you want to get a little fancier with some editing, I personally edit on my phone. I don't even edit on a computer anymore. I use either the app InShot or CapCut. Both have free options. I paid for InShot, but it's like $10 for the year, so it's incredibly inexpensive. A lot of amazing tools within those editing softwares. Our full-time video editor uses Adobe Premiere. That's what he's comfortable with. So Adobe Premiere Pro is just a cinema quality level video editing software. There's a little bit of a learning curve there. You don't have to get that advanced, but InShot and CapCut are fantastic. If you're a TikTok first creator as well, there's a great website, snaptik.com. That's TIK, Snaptik. That basically you can post your TikTok video. You can copy the URL of that TikTok video, come over to Snaptik, and download that video watermark free, and remove the TikTok logo on there so it doesn't look like repurposed content. It just looks like an original video. And then you can upload that same video to all of your social media platforms right now.
Wow. Oh, those are great tips. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
And what are your best tips for maximizing SEO for video marketing?
Well, optimize what people are searching for. So depending any platform, any social media platform is a search engine, especially YouTube, but TikTok is becoming a search engine. Instagram is really becoming a search engine too. People just search for information a little bit differently than they would, say, on Google. So when you're creating content that addresses a question or a pain point or resolves some sort of problem, you want to optimize everything, all of the fields that particular platform gives you for that video. So if you're on YouTube, you want to optimize that title for search based on what people are searching for. You want to optimize the description. You, of course, want to optimize that video so it teases them what the topic is at the beginning of that video, and it immediately starts to deliver value, because watch duration and watch time and completion rate are the most important aspects of getting your video shown to more people. On TikTok and Instagram, you have to leverage the description under those videos. TikTok just increased the character count on their descriptions to 2,200 characters. Use it. There's a reason. They want you to add text. They want you to add context and continued information and education about what that video is about, because they're beginning to index these videos. Google also indexes TikTok videos as well as YouTube videos into the organic Google search results too. I would also add captions on every single video too, because I think I read like 60 to 70% of people that watch videos on social media watch it with the sound off, which is a crazy fact. If you think about all personal use cases where you're not in where you're not in an environment that you're able to listen to it because you don't want to disturb anybody, but there's a pause, we're bored, we're addicted to social media, so we still pull that phone out.
Yeah.
You have subtitles on, you're reaching that community of people, as well as the deaf community, of course, that are not able to listen, but they still can consume your content because there's subtitles on it.
Right.
It's everywhere.
Absolutely. Why not? Right. I mean, what are your tips for coming up with the keyword strategy? Because you probably don't want to stuff all the keywords in there. You want to be selective, but then you also want to make use of the space. Like, what are your tips for that?
Yeah. So, I mean, pertaining to, let's go with short form vertical video content strategy. You could use a free website like answersocrates.com or answerthepublic.com. And those are tools that you just type something in related to your business, related to your industry, related to any topic that you want to create content around. It's going to give you a list of questions that people are searching for online. It's going to give you a list of prepositions, comparisons, as well as A through Z searches. Create a video on each one of these topics that's relevant to you, that you can expertly communicate on that topic. Single videos on each topic. Don't prolong it. Make it short, sweet, punchy. On the description side of things, to optimize, just list that one question. You can, I wouldn't keyword stuff in anywhere in general. You know, that doesn't really work. It's not the year 2000 where that somehow worked on Google for like 10 minutes. But just have that single line, you know, right at the top of the description everywhere. That's really all you need at this point. You can add additional text. You can add, you know, YouTube's character count in the description, I think, is 5,000, 2,200 on TikTok. I'm not sure what Instagram's is offhand. They give you a lot of characters. You don't really need to use all of them if you don't want to. If your video is addressing that question or that topic immediately, you're resolving it within the video, and the first line of your description has that target keyword or has that long tail keyword question in there, as well as maybe some relevant hashtags as well, really specific hashtags to what the video is about, you're going to reach the right audience.
Good to know. What advice would you give to people who want to grow their channels quickly on YouTube? And if you had to choose between TikTok and YouTube, which one would you choose and why?
The fastest way to grow on YouTube right now is YouTube Shorts. I'll give you a quick story here, then I'll answer your second question. It took me 3 years to get to 5,000 YouTube subscribers. And then when I figured out YouTube Shorts, it took me 3 days to go from 5,000 to 100,000 subscribers. In the last 100 days, I went from 5,000 to I'm now at 450,000 YouTube subscribers. These are entirely from YouTube Shorts. Now, right now, depending on when you're listening to this, I would probably say YouTube Shorts is the better platform for reach. There's some potential concerns around TikTok, algorithmically, end of this year, and potentially early next year as well. The algorithms might be a little bit down because of ad spending on TikTok, as well as overall competition. YouTube is a huge opportunity, a huge growth opportunity. They're putting shorts out there, but I would argue that if you're already creating short content for YouTube or for TikTok, just take the extra 2 minutes to upload it onto the other platform. It's not going to take you that much time.
Right. And for, let's say for podcasters specifically, what do you think is the best channels for them to repurpose their video content? Because as you said, I've heard that YouTube is trying, I mean, they have those shorts and they're also trying to get more podcasters onto their platform. I haven't actually looked into this yet, but I've heard that they're pushing podcasting content as well. And I guess from an SEO point of view, it would probably be a good idea to repurpose video podcast content there. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, YouTube's doing a big push for podcast content right now, video podcast, obviously. So if you have a podcast and it's not video, I would go video. Just take that extra step, do StreamYard, do Zoom. There's a million of these tools out there, right, to record a video podcast. Just do it. You're going to be okay. And then upload all of those onto YouTube, and then clip out really short, insightful, or engaging moments within those videos. And there's a lot that you can do to repurpose. So on YouTube in particular, you can clip out horizontal, traditional YouTube sized clips that are several minutes long, and you can turn them, into unique videos as well. Everyone knows the Joe Rogan Experience, right? JRE clips. This is what grew his channel to like 10 million subscribers on YouTube. It's not just the long episodes, it's individual 5-minute clips from within each episode. If you have an hour-long podcast, that's 20 potential 5-minute videos that you could easily turn into unique content on your YouTube channel. And then I would also, of course, take out 60-second or less really short, punchy segments, edit them vertically, and post them on YouTube as shorts, post them on TikTok as well. There's tons of great podcasters that are dominating on TikTok right now, just doing that strategy. They're doing short snippet clips from their podcast. They have a format that works on TikTok that's hooking them in, holding the attention, telling them what to do next. And then the link in the TikTok in their TikTok bio links right to their podcast, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you want to pull people to. Just repurpose as much as you can.
Yeah, and that makes so much more sense than just having the entire episode as a video on YouTube, because I was wondering about that, because then you are probably taking away from your podcast downloads because people just watch the entire episode on YouTube. So if you have the short clips and you send them to your podcast, then you can maximize your reach, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't want to put the full episode on YouTube, I mean, you could. An easy strategy, if you want to just increase the downloads, is to only upload clips onto your YouTube channel, and then in the description just say listen to the whole episode here, right? Exactly. And that links right to iTunes or to Spotify or whatever you're pushing.
Yeah, that's the idea that I thought might be a good thing to start next year.
Yeah. And it's a lot of extra work, right? But that we're all successful people that are listening to this podcast, or aspiring successful people, right? There's so many tools out there that can help you with this, or you can just hire somebody to take that tedious task off of your plate. You can go on Upwork, you can go on Fiverr, pay somebody $5 an hour or per task to edit these clips out for you. It's going to be a huge upside. It's going to take that off of your plate. You're going to save time. It doesn't cost that much. And it's just going to create all of this extra content that points into your podcast.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that I'll test drive next year. Now, let's say one of your clients had a huge, big launch coming up, say a book, a course, or an event. What marketing plan would you suggest to help them get the word out most effectively to make their launch a huge success?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell the story. People love a story that they can get behind. Good storytelling elements, if you work in like the hero's journey, like I'm at this point, I'm overcoming an obstacle, I'm working towards this main goal. Tell that story in your content. Like if you're writing a book, for example, create some videos and content like, hey guys, I ran into a big brain fog today, a writer's block. I'm in the process of writing this book, and I need your help on some suggestions for this next chapter. Here's what the chapter is about. Could you leave me some comments on some ideas that you'd like to see in this book, and I'll pick one and I'll incorporate it. And people love that because it's going to increase the engagement. They're going to feel like they're a part of that journey. So when that book actually comes out, they feel like they had a part in that. People love to become brand advocates. So if you bring viewers and your followers along the journey, you're going to have a very successful launch. Take them behind, take daily tasks that you're doing, like morning routine stuff, day in the life of an artist, day in the life of a XYZ product maker, whatever it is that you're launching. I would also do a ton of live streams as well. And do those live streams up to like a book launch. Like if you're launching your book in 6 months, do a live stream every week or every month or whatever you're able to consistently do, and just answer tons of questions, build up rapport, and then every single one tease a live countdown for the book launch when it goes live on Amazon. And then everybody's gonna, come along for that journey as well. They celebrate. Balloons are coming up in the live stream chat, and you're like, the book's live, help me out, make it number 1 in my category. Go, 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 go. And they will.
Great tips. Thank you so much for sharing. I love the idea of the co-creation process because it makes it so much more fun. It's playful. It's fun. It's fun for the audience. It's fun for the creator. I think that's a great strategy to use. Yeah. Not sure how I can incorporate that next year, but yeah, it sounds like fun.
Yeah. A quick example of something like this is there's a video game maker that I forget the name of the game offhand, but he would it's a timed game where the planet is about to explode and you have to solve the mystery of why the planet is going to explode, and it's a cool game. But anyway, he would add development features from comments that came in and then made those new videos. Like someone would say, like the animation of the gun is a little wonky, make it straight on instead of doing a jerky motion like this. And he'd do it in the programming, and he'd make a video and he'd show that comment on screen, like, thank you for the suggestion. I've incorporated this. What else do you think that we should incorporate? Brilliant strategy.
It is brilliant. Isn't it like Lego or something who like the brands who have created a community that can just submit suggestions and they will create it and produce it? I think Lego has something like that. So they ask children, what kind of toy, what kind of Lego set do you want us to build next? And then they just go and do whatever gets the most votes. So that's a great thing.
I love it. I haven't specifically looked at that, but that's probably the case. I mean, that's great. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. So last but not least, where can our listeners find you online if they would like to learn more about you or your work, or just connect with you?
Yeah, you can connect with me at Socialty Pro on whatever your favorite social media platform is. Send me a message on all of them. If you'd like to professionally connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Austin Armstrong. I think my URL is Austin Armstrong 90. But yeah, connect with me on there. Send me a message. I'll respond to every single person.
Perfect. Austin, thank you so much for sharing your tips and insights with us today. I have learned a lot, and I'm sure the listeners have enjoyed this episode as well. Take care and talk to you soon.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Before you go, I'd love to invite you to an amazing event that I will be co-hosting in January. From January the 23rd to January 26th, my friend Dr. Ron Kaiser and I are going to host a global virtual summit on habit change and high performance habits. This event is designed for ambitious professionals who want to optimize their performance in all areas of their lives and businesses. The idea is to really help them create momentum and give them the science-based tools, techniques, and strategies that help them live happier, healthier, and more productive lives. We have an exceptional lineup of expert speakers from all around the world who will cover a broad range of topics, from overcoming addictions to how your beliefs create your reality, to how to improve your health through optimizing your breathing, or how you can gamify your habits to make them stick. Most of our speakers will also be available for a live Q&A after their talks, so if you want your question on habits answered by a leading expert, make sure you join us live. Follow the link in the show notes to get your ticket now. I can't wait to see you there and help you make 2023 your best year yet.